fast-changing pace of the political events, the Janata Samajwadi Party has now been considered as a game-changer to redeem the current government as well as to form a new government. Meanwhile, leaders of the party have held a meeting with Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli and sought for his commitment in addressing their issues if he wants to garner the party's support. Good morning, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha and these are the headlines of the hour. Janata Samajwadi Party, the new game-changer in the changed power equation, holds a meeting with the Prime Minister on the party's conditions. The Nepal faction of the CPN-UML expresses its dissent against the modus operandi of Prime Minister Oli, says the Premier has remained reluctant to hold a single meeting despite the changed political context. China's legislature approves a resolution to overhaul Hong Kong's electoral system, its latest move to tighten control over the city. And Tottenham Hotspur blank Dinamo Zagreb 2-0 in the first leg round of 16 match of the Europa League. Manchester United and AC Milan settle for a 1-1 draw. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli held discussions yesterday with leaders of Janata Samajwadi Party that has the key to the new power equation to form a new government. The Prime Minister held a 2-hour-long meeting with Janata Samajwadi Party leaders at his official residence in Balwatar yesterday. The meeting was attended by Chairman duo Mahanta Thakur and Upendra Yadav and Senior Leader duo Ashok Rai and Rajendra Mahato. However, Federal Chairman of the party Baburam Bhattarai did not take part in the meeting. The Janata Samajwadi Party, that is now billed as a game-changer to redeem the current government as well as to form a new government, has urged Premier Oli to commit to addressing their issues including constitution amendment, take back cases that were filed during the Madesh movement and release of lawmaker Resham Chaudhary. The Prime Minister's press advisor Surya Thapa tweeted that the meeting with Janata Samajwadi Party leaders was positive and a task force level discussions will be held today. The party has called the parliamentary party meeting today and its executive committee meeting on 18th of March to discuss the political chain of events and strategies. Meanwhile, preparations are underway to pass the legislation and appoint leaders through the parliamentary party meeting. Senior CPN-UML leader Madhav Kumar Nepal has claimed that the party chair and the Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has adopted a strategy of bypassing other leaders in the party. The Nepal faction has expressed its dissent against the modus operandi of Prime Minister Oli, saying that the Premier has remained reluctant to hold a single meeting despite the changed political context. A meeting held by the Nepal faction in the capital yesterday drew the attention of the party leadership at the Prime Minister's unilateral ways, where he has firmly stood against leaders opposing him. The Nepal faction, which previously was in the dissenting group in the party, has intensified its meetings to formulate its forthcoming strategies. The faction held its third meeting in as many days. The group had held the meeting of the Central Committee leaders close to the faction on Wednesday, while it had held a meeting of the lawmakers on Tuesday. The government had banned the Netra Bikramchand-led group 2 years ago due to their violent activities. The government lifted the ban on 4th of March last week, followed by the 3-point agreement to conduct peaceful politics. However, the government has overlooked the weapon management of the group that remained underground for 2 years. We have more in this report.
The cadres of the Chand-led group were under most wanted list of the security forces. The security mechanism had prioritized the cadres hunt due to the violent politics that even caused loss of lives. The Chand group emerged from their 2 years of hibernation to strike a 3-point agreement with the government on 3rd of March last week. The party General Secretary Netra Bikramchand, along with other leaders and cadres, made themselves public from the stage flanked by Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli himself. The leaders and cadres of the Chand-led group were also released in line with the agreement. The security forces had retrieved 7 submachine guns, 1 light machine gun, M16 rifle among other weapons from the group during the 2-year restriction period. The Chand group had been conducting violent political activities as 44 pistols, skeleton, explosives and over 2,000 rounds of bullets were recovered from the group. Meanwhile, the group has now claimed they do not possess any weapons. The United Nations mission in Nepal, UNMIN, had declared 19,603 Maoist rebels as qualified combatants. Meanwhile, only 3,475 combatants handed over their weapons to the government. Speculations were made at the time that weapons were concealed. A survey conducted 7 years ago shows that there were 430,000 weapons outside the security guild, while the government had granted license to only 53,000. The remaining weapons are not investigated as of yet. The researchers view that the government's silence in terms of weapons while forging an agreement with the Chand-led group could result in unforeseen crisis in arms management in future. The Chand group's agreement to peaceful politics has ruled out any declared armed forces in the country. There is a general call on the authority to hunt down and manage weapons previously used in armed conflict.
In our Public Voice segment, we had asked the local residents of Biratnagar their opinion on the government publicity of development activities. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
जनताको अपेक्षा अनुसार अहिलेको सरकारले काम गर्न सकेका छैन। सरकार भनेपछि प्रधानमन्त्रीको मुख्य नेतृत्व रहन्छ र जसरी गर्नुपर्ने हो त्यो तीव्र गतिमा कामहरू नभएको।
जति सिंगापुर बनाएको छु भने तापनि त्यस्तो त हामीले अनुभव गर्न पाएका छैन।
पानी जहाज उडाइदिन्छु भने थियो, रेल ल्याइदिन्छु भने थियो, घरमा ग्यास सलाला अब सिलिन्डर बोक्नु पर्दैन भनेको थियो, अहिलेसम्म कहीँ केही छैन। हाम्रा आँखाले देखेको छैन, कहीँ केही गरेको छ भने पनि खोइ कहाँबाट विकास त भएर।
And it's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. And here's the question. Why has the Chand group that has committed to peaceful politics not surrendered arms? Your options are A, no weapons, B, government's indifference, and C, political gambits. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And that's all for the moment. Keep watching Kantipur Television HD for more news and entertainment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.